Indiraj. You're muted. You can start again.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atha Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayatapattanitra Yena tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikaparnaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Duhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dogdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramaddanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Krupena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavairana Nadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharyavachas Sarojamamalam Geetarthagandhotkadam Nanakhyanakakesaram Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muta Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangha Padakramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikkanatham Sarvalokaikkanatham Sarvalokaikkanatham.
Namaste. So we are getting closer and closer towards the end today. Thank you all for accommodating the change in time today. So we are going to be covering chapter 14, which is the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And we'll hear about all the three gunas from Dr. G and how we can transcend the gunas as well. The next slide, Dr. G. Three worlds Three worlds were created, born in nature and binding the self to the body and human experience. Purity, light, charity, good heart, harmony, balance, equanimity. These are the bright realms of sattva. That is the world when you can get beyond the clouds on the top of the lofty peaks. Ambition, motivation, passion, greed, anger, hatred are the desirous realms of Rajas. That is the world where you play the slot machine and regret later. Inertia, sloth, unsteady, depression, darkness, insensitivity. These are the dark realms of tamas, the world so treacherous like the swampy marshlands that's impossible to pull out of.
Namaste. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Vagathaviva Sampruktav Vagatha Pratipattaye Jagata Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameswarau. Sabhaye Namaha. Today, at the outset, I would like to thank for accommodating the change. We shall get into the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The chapter's name is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, and some call it Gunatita Yoga also, but popularly Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And we have seen from 13th chapter onwards, we see this analytical approach in Bhagavad Gita. We saw Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. We are saying now Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And we'll see Daivi Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So a dissection, an analysis, a scientific approach to the philosophy. And this is Krishna's way of analyzing the Vedic essence, the Upanishadic essence, and giving it to us as a nectar. Sarvo Panishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. It is our fortune that we got this nectar of Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of Upanishad. This particular chapter is covered very well in Bhagavad Gita. It has been mentioned elsewhere other than in Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga, Sariraka Upanishad, and a few other places. And this is not the end of mention of gunas, nor the beginning, because we have seen in the 3rd chapter, in the 5th chapter, about the gunas. Prakritehi gunasamodhaah, prakritehi gunaihi. So we have seen that guna guneshu vartanta iti. Echaiva sattvika bhavaah, rajasa tamasaschaye. So we have seen this in the previous chapters. Daivi hesha gunamayi. Now we see this in a very detailed way in the 14th chapter. And we also continue to see this in the 17th and 18th chapter as well. So if you have not got a complete hold on this, which we may never get, that is a gunahatita, that is transcending these gunas. Now we shall try to understand these gunas and play with these gunas and moderate these gunas optimally And that is our lifetime journey. This particular chapter is like a diary, is like a journal, and it is our story. And we should be able to understand it and relate it to ourselves much more than other chapters. So these are the three modes of material nature which will be discussed. Saluting the Gurus and saluting all of you for your attention. And these three gunas are named as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Sattva, Sato Bhava, Sato Bhava. So that which is a balanced quality. A guna means quality, one meaning. Guna means a characteristic. Guna means the nature. Guna means a braid also. A braid, you see. It's much more common in Telugu girls to have this braid. Bapu, a great painter, actually he draws so many beautiful girls' pictures with a braid. So the braid has got these three braids, and then they go in a very rhythmic fashion. So that is guna. That's also called guna. A rope is called guna as well. So they are intertwined so well. So sato bhavaha sattva. And this is jnana hetu. Then rajas. Ranjayati iti rajas. The one which makes us getting involved and live in this world actively is rajas, ranjayati. Then raga hetu. So this leads to attachment. Then tamas, kamyati anena. So it's moha, it's kind of delusion. And it is glani hetu. So jnana hetu, sattva. Raga hetu, rajas. Glani means decline in our quality of life. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Glani, so decline. So sattva, a balanced, harmonious, positive life with peace, clarity, creativity, openness. The rajas, always on the go, move, activity, agility, energy, excitement, passionate, desirous, anxious, egotistic life. And tamas, inertia, inactivity, somnolence, negativity, apathy, dullness, darkness, delusion, depression, ignorance. So we will be seeing these over the next few verses, how one leads to the other. What are the results of these three gunas? How can we recognize these three gunas? And we need these three gunas because the entire creation is dependent on these three gunas. You can see Brahmaji, Rajoguna, where the creation happens. And Vishnu, the sustenance, is because of the sattva nature. And then Tamoguna, the pralaya, is Siva Tattva. So you see Brahma, Vishnu, Sivatmakam, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Gunatmakam. Here, the chapter begins with Bhagavan continuing and praising the subject which is going to teach. It is one of the greatest qualities of a teacher while introducing a topic and conveying the glory and conveying the greatness in what he is going to teach, and what is there in that subject. He is one of the great teachers, great quality. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam Yajñatva Munayas Sarve Param Siddhimito Gataha. O Arjuna, Bhuyaha, again, Bhuyaha, again. Because the Lord has said in the 9th chapter that I shall tell you Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Then in the 10th chapter, Yatteham Priyamanaya Tato Vakshyami. So Hitakamyaya. So now, again, O Arjuna, I shall instruct what Param, the ultimate. Jnananam Uttamam Jnanam, the best of all the knowledges, the best of all the sciences. The sciences, there are Vaidika sciences and Laukika sciences. Bhautika sciences are Laukika sciences. Then Vaidika are Daivika sciences. So that, the best of all these, I'm going to teach you, instruct you. Yajñatva, having known, Sarve Munaya, the many great sages, Itaha, from here, Param Siddhim Gataha. They have reached the perfection. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyam agataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyadhanti cha. Being fixed in this knowledge, upashritya idam jnanam, they attain me only. Mama sadharmyam agataha. They become one with me. They transcend this mundane world. They come to me, they unite with me. And then now, once they come to me, for them, there is no downfall. They will not be subjected to any agitation of the world or worldly things. Now, the creation is because of two. Jagatap Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameswarau Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi. Ubhav. Which two? Prakriti and Purusha. Know them as Anadi. So don't break your head knowing or trying to see which is first. So both are together, and together we have seen this Kalabhyam Chodalankruta Shashikalabhyam Nijata Palabhyam Bhakteshu Prakatita Palabhyam Bhavatu Me Shivabhyam Asto Tribhuvana Shivabhyam Rudipunarbhavabhyam Anandaspuradhanubhavabhyam Natiriyam. Is Parvati Parameshwara. They are like Vak and Artha, Prakriti and Purusha, like the word and its meaning. See the beauty of it? When you say cow, the meaning automatically comes into your head. When I say book, so the book, the word, and the meaning which goes with the book, they are like that. Vagarthaviva sampruktau Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatappitarau Vande Parvati Parameswarau. Kalidasa, he writes this verse before he embarks on the great Kavya, the Raghavamsa. So, Vak, Artha, Iva Sampruktau. So I salute that Parvati Parameshwara, that Prakriti and Purusha, that Maya and Maheshwara, that Maya and Mayavi, that Gunamayi Daivi, and the Purushottama. I salute, who are like this Prakriti and Purusha, are like the word and its meaning, so that I may get the right words to speak with and then to share the knowledge with you through my words. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Now, Any teaching can be easily understood if they are given examples of the things that which we can relate to or we know of. We know of our mother and father so very well. Prakriti and Purusha are like our mother and father. And this Mahat Brahma here, Mahat Brahma, is Mahat Yoni. So this Prakriti, we have seen that there are two Prakritis, Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. We have seen this. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rastadha apareyamitastvanyam vidhi prakriti me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So there is a para prakriti and apara prakriti. And this prakriti is Mahatyoni, the great womb. And in that womb, I shall place the seed. So, tasmin garbham dadhami, garbham, the sperm, the seed. So now it is the combination of the sperm and ovum, the matter and energy, the inert matter and the consciousness. The combination of energy and the matter coming into this manifest existence. Then comes Sarvabhutanam Sambhavaha Tato Bhavati, O Bharata. And here in this chapter, we see Krishna addressing Arjuna as Bharata many a time. Bha means Prakasha. Rata means the reveling person, the one who revels in Prakasha. Prakasha is Jnana, the light. That is Bharata. And that's where we actually come from, Bharata Desha. Sarvayonishu kaunteya muttaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonihi aham bija pradapita. For all these yonis, all sthavara jangamas, all that moves and that moves not. So sthavara jangama, charachara prapancha, charachara bhutas. Bhuta means the one, bhu means coming into existence. So for all those who come into existence, know that Prakriti as the mother and me as the father. Pitahamasya jagataha mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitra munkaraha. So we have seen that. So that Prakriti and Purusha are two aspects of me only, O Arjuna. And that Vagartha Viva Samprukta, we have seen that. So this Prakriti, and we have seen this in many different ways. So in Saundarya Lahari, we see this. Shivas Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakhalu Kushalas Panditum Api Atastva Maradhyam Harihara Virinchadi Birapi Pranantum Stotum Va Kathamakruta Punya Prabhavati. So when we praise Devi, we take Devi as the primordial importance. And then we say that, O Shakti, without you, the Shiva cannot move. Not only Shiva, the Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. In the same way, here now, Vishnu is speaking that this Maya is mine. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shabdita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. And this Maya is Mahamaya. And this Mahamaya overwhelms everything and everybody. There is nothing in this earth, on this earth, or in the heavens, the one which exists without this Maya, these three gunas. Natadasti prithivyam va devi deveshu va punaha. So there is nothing on this earth, nor in the heavens, which is free of this Maya, Prakriti, and this Prakriti is Daivi and Gunamayi. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Now we'll see that Gunamayi, the one who is endowed with gunas. What are those gunas? The three gunas. Even Omkara, Akara, Ukara, Makara, they represent Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. Sattvam rajastamayiti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattvam, rajas, tamas iti. These gunas are prakriti sambhavas. They came from prakriti. They belong to prakriti. And they bind dehi in this deha. So deha is body. Dahyate iti deha. So the one which expands, and then one day it is burnt, according to our Hindu tradition. And dehi is the one who dwells in this deha. So that dehi is avyaya. But this deha, I hope I'm not confusing you by saying this word, dehi is avyaya. But deha is perishable. And while that dehi is in this deha, O Mahabaho, you may think that you have full control on this. No. This prakriti, sambhavaha gunaha, they bind this dehi in this deha. So they are iron, tamoguna, silver, rajoguna, golden, sattva-guna, and all these are the chains only. So one is better than the other. And we need all of them. All of us are a matrix of this guna. All of us are a complex matrix of these gunas. So guna matrix. And by the way, the Matrix movie is also it's a very good one. My sister Garu used to love that movie. So now, how are they? So SRT complex. So this guna matrix is SRT complex. And SRT complex can be arranged in any way. Now you see TSR, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas. RTS, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Or RST, Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. Or TSR, Tamas, Sattva, and Rajas. TRS, like the party in Telangana. So Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. All these are there in various proportions in all of us. So various permutations and combinations which lead to infinite number. Now you can see. So one may have 60, 30, 10. The other one may have 60, 35, and 15. Yeah, 60, 35, that is 95 and 5. Or the other one may have 60, 20, 20. So all this. And you can go on. So the mathematical combinations and permutations. So it is not possible to have all tamas complex, or rajas complex, or sattva complex. It only happens in this Gita session where, SSS, Shilpa ji, Shivaranjani ji, and Suresh ji, all this with the Shivaswami Gurukul. It only happens in Gita class like this. Or it happens like TTT, like this is in medical terminology, twin transfusion. So when the two monozygotic twins are there, so there can be some transfusion in between them. Or the RRR happens in the Tollywood or Bollywood, so but not in the real world. So in the real world, it is the triple gunas or modes of existence, the matrix, which is a sattva, positive, pure, divine quality. And rajas, it's not as bad as tamas, but it is fully agile. It is a projecting power. Whereas sattva is a revealing power, and rajas is a projecting power, full of activity, full of aggression, full of agility, full of anxiety, and full of egoism. And the tamas, where there are some dullness, sleep, dream, along with the negative attitude and some impurity, and all these are needed for us, or needed because we have to reveal our inner nature, or we have to introspect and see the divine quality within us and express that light of knowledge with a balance, in a peaceful manner, with the activity and passion which is needed in our vocation, the projecting personality with the activity as needed. And also, and we need this wailing power, tamas, dullness, sleep, because without sleep, we cannot be active again. So sleep is equally important. All these three gunas are equally important in certain proportions. And even in Ayurveda, so these gunas have their origin for the diseases which manifest through the five elements: ether, air, fire, water, earth. And these doshas are called, as many of you might have heard, vata, pitta, and kapha doshas. So just to mention. So what happens here now, we'll go into the details of these with the introduction which we have now talked about for the last few minutes. It's easy to understand the subsequent verses. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhrati jnana sangena chanagha. There, while we are talking about these gunas, O Arjuna, the mode of goodness, sattvam, being purer than others. Nirmalatvat, the nirmala, mala. Mala is the dirt which we have accumulated over a period of time. It's like a rolling stone, like just gathering the snow, the moss, over the years and eons, many a lifetime. And we have seen that mala can be of three types. Dhumena vriyate vannihi yadhadarsho malena cha yadholbena vruto garbaha tadhate nedamavrutam. This avarana shakti is like the smoke on the fire, or dust on the mirror, or the womb covering the fetus. So, but this sattvam is nirmala, so without any mala, any dirt. Prakasakam, illumining. Anamayam, amayam is disease. Anamayam, diseaseless state, a healthy one. Sukhasangena badhnati. So this also, it binds to us, because this Shastra Vasana also, Sattvika Ahankara also is there. And we have seen that in the beginning. I'll allude to it towards the end, where Arjuna shows Sattvika Ahankara there in the first chapter. Duryodhana shows the Rajasika Ahankara, and Dhritarashtra the Tamasika Ahankara. So the Sukha Sangena Badhnati and Jnana Sangena cha Anagha, O Anagha. Now, O Arjuna, Anagha, Agha means defects. Agha means sin. Agha means deficiency. Agha means the one who has committed mistakes, errors, has deficiencies. All is that Anagha, O Arjuna, now you are purified with the teachings which you have very attentively hearing for last 13 chapters. O Anagha, Jnana Sangena. So even that Jnana also gives the attachment to us. Shastra gives attachment to us. So these vasanas are three types: Shastra Vasana, Deha Vasana, Loka Vasana. So these vasanas, the attachments to the world, to the knowledge we have, and also to the body. But there, Sattva has purity, serenity, quality, and clarity. Purity, serenity, quality, and clarity. And what happens with Rajas? Rajas is endowed with this raga, the intense attachment, passion. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi, Krishna sanga samudbhavam. We have seen this in the past. kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha. So Trishna, wanting more, more and more and more. So that is Trishna. Krishna Sangha Samudbhavam. So attachment to this craving or needing more, wanting more, that, O Kaunteya, Nibadhanati binds this dehi, in this deha, with what? Karma. So going after that. So it is very good to have this Trishna. So this passion to do the things. But what happens when this passion crosses its limits? Now, dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. That kama which is not opposite to dharma to begin with, sankalpa, when it becomes ragatmakam, endowed with rajas, so it will go into the selfless action, go into selfishness. And the selfishness leads to dharma, not aviruddha, but dharma viruddha kama. And then it goes on and on and on. So that takes us this ability, agility, activity, and affinity, and vanity, and distracts us and causes the problems. So that has to be modulated in an optimal fashion along with sattva to get the best of the results. Then tamas. Tamas tvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabihi tannibadhnati bharata. Tamas. Pardon me. Ajnanajam. So this is born out of ajnana, avidya. Yani namapi chetamsi. Yani namapi chetamsi devi bhagavati hisa baladakrisya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. Sarvadehinam mohanam. So it eludes everyone. And what does it lead to? It does lead to pramada, alasya, nidra. Pramada is inattentiveness. Pramada, most of us know it as an accident, but accident happens because of inattention, inattentiveness, that's pramada. Then alasya, we all know the indolence or procrastination, laziness, nidra, tandra. So nidra is sleepiness and tandra is drowsiness. So all dullness, stillness, laziness, and haziness, no clarity. There is hazy picture. So dullness, stillness, laziness, and haziness. And these three binders, they're like three thieves. The three thieves, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, like when somebody is going through the forest, good old days in India. So he has some money and he's traversing through a thick forest. And there are three thieves who caught him. And so out of the three, so they bind him to a tree. They loot him. And then one of the three says, now let's stab him, let's kill him and then go. The second one says, no, we bind him here to the tree, and then he's not going to go anywhere. So let's go. So the binding is good enough. And the third one says, well, we looted and we wanted what we want. Well, we got what we wanted. So let's just let him go. Let him go back to his village. Then he convinces the other two. And he says, okay, now you are free. A young man, you can go back to your village. But he says, I'm now in these thick woods. I do not know where my village is. Can you please show me the way? And then the third thief, who is better of the three, takes him to the border of the village and then says, yeah, okay, now go this way and you'll find your home. And then that young man is so impressed by this thief and he says, why don't you come home and then have a cup of coffee and go? He says, no, I'm also a thief. I'm also a thief. You should let go of me also. So these are the three thieves, the story of three thieves, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo. So Tamo should be conquered or optimized with Rajoguna. Then Rajoguna should be conquered or optimized with Sattvaguna. So that is when we progress in our life. And they, in our lives also, Sattvaguna dominates sometimes. Or some personalities, some people where we see Sattvaguna dominates. For others, Rajoguna dominates. For others, Tamoguna dominates. But this is a dynamic process. So we're not the same all the time. We're not the same all the time in a period of time. Let us say we are not the same when we are in 40s. We are not the same when we are in 50s. We are not the same when we are in 20s. When we're not the same in our teenage life. Rajastamascha-abhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. So overwhelming or overpowering, or dominating, rajas and tamas, sattva prevails. In the same way, overwhelming, dominating, overpowering, sattva and rajas, tamas prevails. And in the same way, overwhelming, overpowering, overshadowing, sattvam and tamas, rajas prevails. And these are dependent on certain factors. Those factors are, I'll just give you mention some, which are mentioned not in this chapter, but elsewhere. So, agama, according to our education, according to our teachings, according to our learning. So that's agama. Apa is waters, and then what we drink and what we eat. You can see when you drink coconut water or pure water, a distilled water, or when you drink the Coke or the Red Bull, or when you take more than a glass of wine or more than a can of beer or more than a peg of whiskey, so you'll see how it overwhelms. So jala. Then jana. Jana, the people who you move along with that. Satsanga, we know that satsangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam. In the same way, again, saying, if you move with a group of Rajoguna people or Tamoguna people, so you are influenced by them. It's like Kabir saying that kal kare so aaj kare so abhi karo, that is Sattva-guna. Then if you move with so Tamoguna and Rajoguna, so they'll say ab kare so aaj kabhi karo, aaj kare so kal kabhi karo, jaldi hai kya yaar, jeena hai pura zindagi. So that is how the Tamoguna people influence you. And in the same way, the other things, the desha, the place you are at. You are in a very great workplace where the culture itself will actually take you. In Calcutta, I don't know now, but so some time ago when I went, in the railway station, if you just stand, the people will take you. You don't have to walk. So that is how you go with the flow. So that desha. And then kala, the time, not only the times we talked about, but also the time of the day, Brahmi Muhurta, 3 to 6 a.m. Then comes all day, daily activity, and the nightlife, as you could see. So that kala also. Then the other things which can influence are our janma, our vasanas, our karma, our samskaras, and dhyana and mantra. So dhyana, these Tamoguna people, they only Shatru Bhavana, always think of destroying their Shatru. Whereas Rajoguna people, Kamini and Kanchana. So the more desires and more, so all WWW, in this world, just the wine, woman, and all the worldly things that they want. So Kamini and Kanchana. Then whereas Sattva-guna, Daivi Bhava. We have seen that also. Yajante Satvika Devaha Yaksha Rakshamsi Rajasaha Pretan Bhutaganas Chanye Yajante Tamasa Janaha. So these influence all these, and then you get this guna matrix. It's very complex, as you could see. And now how can you see and how can you know that I have sattva quality and now rajas is dominating me, or I have more of tamas and less of this? Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham sattvam ityuta. The manifestations of this mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body, all the gates, navadvare pure dehi. So through all our apertures, what are these? The eyes, the nostrils, the ears, the tongue. So all these, they express this great quality. So you can see this in people's eyes, in people's speech, in people's gestures. So all these, you can see that sattva guna is developing. Then in the rajoguna, as the rajoguna is increasing, prevailing, dominating, lobha pravrittir arambaha karmana masamaspruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshabha. Oh, the best among the Bharata clan, lobha, greed, more and more and more, and getting into indulgence, overindulgence into the activity. Then karmanam asamaha spruha. So asamaha, there is no peace, there is no satiation, there is no limit. So they lose control over themselves. So in that rajas. Then tamas aprakasho apravrittischa. Aprakasho pravrittischa. There is adya. Pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayanti. Aprakasha, dullness. Apravritti, not interested in any activity. Pramada, we have seen inattention, and moha, delusion. All these, they exist when tamas is dominating. Yada sattve pravruddhetu. Now what happens when sattva is in increasing mode? If we leave this body, all of us have to leave one day. But what happens when sattva is on its incline? Yada sattve pravruddhetu pralayam yati deha bhrita tadottama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. And after this, again, when we talk about punarjanma, we talked about Sanatana Dharma is based on Dharma, Karma, Brahma, and Punarjanma. Dharma, Karma, Brahman, and Punarjanma. So this Punarjanma we have seen in the 6th chapter also. So Tada Uttama Vidam Lokan Amalan. So there, Ushitva Saswati Samaha. Then it comes back again. So then Srimatam Kehe. So Yoga Brasto Vijayate. So that is born again in the best of the families, where his personality could be nurtured. So Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangeshu jayate tatha praleynastamasi mudhayo nishajayate. Now, if you leave this body in Rajas dominant status, then you'll be born again in a business family or in the family who are on the go always. And in the same way, in tamas, if we give up this body, mudhayonishu. So these are the beings of lesser knowledge and wisdom. So animal kingdom, plant kingdom, and so on. So now, where does it lead to all these? Karma nasukritasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasaphalam. It's called phalam, not phalam, So my friend used to say, Gautam Suresh, like falafel, so you say fa, that not fa. So it's phalam in Sanskrit, it said, yeah. So the fruit. So what is the fruit of Sattva Guna? The fruit of Sattva Guna is the good actions. Good actions, good for yourself and good to the world, good to the others. So that is purity, clarity, quality, serenity, divinity. And for Rajas, eventually dukkham, because there is sukham is now dukkham. So sukham, dukkham, like a wheel, it goes on and on and on. Labham, nashtam, priyam, apriyam, all this happens with rajas. Then what is it, tamas? Ajnanam. So we'll be just, we don't even know that we are living in that world of tamas. Then Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam, so that Jnana Karanam, Jnana Hetu Sattva-guna. Then Rajaso Lobha Hetu or Raga Hetu, and Pramada Moha Hetu, Glani Hetu is Tamas, Ajnanam. So these three gunas we have been talking and again. So what happens? What is the result of this when we inculcate more of sattva guna and optimize these guna matrix with more of sattva and then rajas and then less of tamas. So urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha. So sattvastha, the one who is situated in sattva, sattvastha. We have seen this. So swastha. Swastha means the one who is situated in himself. Swastha. Gruhastha, like the one who is in Gruha. So sattvastha, urdhvam gachanti, they go, they reach higher heights. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. So they go up and down, up and down, and then if you just take an average, they stay where they are. Then Jaganya guna vrittistaha adho gachanti tamasaha. And then tamasic people go to the lower level. Then there is a way you can transcend. There are people who transcended this and transcend this. Guna netana tityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkaihi vimukto amritam ashnate. And those, so now as Gita goes over two kinds of people. One is sadhaka, a practitioner, and siddha, a perfected one. So there are perfected ones. And then when you transcend these gunas, like the perfected ones, gunatitas, this dehi transcends the gunas which are deha samudbhavan, so which are born in this body only. That's why we have to transcend when we are in this body only. Shaknoti haiva yasodhum praksharira vimokshanat kama krododbhavam vegam sayuktasya sukhi naraham. Then he will transcend or she will transcend this dukkha from janma, mrityu, jara, and dukkha. We have seen this in the 13th chapter. Janma, mrityu, jara, dukkha. We have seen that. So that, because in the world, the dukkha is from these only. So these only, janma, mrityu, jara, and then all the difficulties that we face. So the one who transcends these gunas will be released from this also. And this is depicted so very well in Sundarakanda, as you can see that we are encountered with the obstacles of sattva type, rajas type, and then tamas type. So we have to transcend these with a knack, like Hanuman has done it. So as he embarked on crossing the ocean, the first one is Mainaka, the golden mountain which erupts. Mainaka. So the Mainaka is right here. So the one who has the wings in the golden mountain. So this is Sattva Guna. He just says, oh Mainaka, I have no time. I have to go do my work. So just, I bless you and consider this my blessings, and then touching of, my hand touching you as accepting your hospitality gracefully. So Ramakaryamai eguchuntini sadhinchu varaku aganantini yadha raghava nirmuktaha sharashvasana vikrama. I'm going like the arrow which is released by Rama. So I have to go. And then comes surasa. So surasa are all these enjoyments. So rasa, raga, so rajo, ragatmakam. So you cannot say that I won't touch. So you have to optimize, you have to modulate, and you have to moderate these gunas, because Pashyan Shunvan Prashan Jagran Ashnan Gachan Swapan Swasan Pralapan Visrajan Grunan Unmishan Nimishan Napi Indriyani Indrihateshu Vatanta iti Dharayana Naiva Kinchit Karo Meti Yukto Manyeta Tatvavit Guna Guneshu Vatanta iti. So Hanuman just enters that Surasa mouth and then comes out. the yukti there. So now there is Simhika. Simhika is Himsika, the Tamasika. So the killing nature of this personality, we have to conquer over, as Hanuman has conquered the Simhika. So that is how the Trigunas are moderated, modulated, and operated. Then Arjuna asks, Kairling Aistrin Gunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabho Kimachara Katham Chaitan Trin Gunanati Vartate. Because Krishna has given a lead. There are people, oh Arjuna, who have transcended this, and then it is possible. Then Arjuna now asks, Linga, by what characteristic? Linga, Lingate Anena. So Linga is a mark. By what mark? Because the Shivalinga is, so by that, we know that infinite tattva of Shiva. So because it's elliptical. So Linga, by what characteristic? By what mark? We can identify these Gunatitas. How do they act? And how can we identify them? Isn't it similar to Sita Pragnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava Sita dhikim prabhaseta kimaseta vrajeta kim. Sthita Prajna Lakshanas in the 2nd chapter, Yogi Lakshanas in the 6th chapter, Bhakta Lakshanas, Same Bhakta. So that Same Priyaha. So that's great Bhakta Saptakam, as we have seen from verse 13 onwards in the 12th chapter. And then Jnana Lakshanas in the 13th chapter, 7-11. And Daivi Lakshanas in the 16th chapter. And now we see Trigunatita Lakshanas. So how are they? We'll go over those verses first and then just talk a little bit about it, because it is pretty much a repetition of Sthita Prajna, Yogi, and Bhakta Lakshanas. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava nadvesti sampravruttani nanivruttani kankshati. This Prakasha, Sattva-guna, Pravritti, Rajoguna, Moha, Tamoguna. They come your way and they go their way. So you don't hanker onto them. You don't crave when they're not there. And you don't attach to them when they are there. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigata spruhaha, vita raga bhaya krodha. So raga, bhaya, krodha are gone. Udasina vadasino gunairyo na vicharyate guna vattanta ityeva yo vatisthati ningate. Ut asina vatta, the one who is above these gunas, because now is operating these gunas. So there is a movie called Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe as Professor Nash. It's a true story. He deals with these delusions and hallucinations. And there are 3 kinds of people there. You may want to see that. And so there is a police officer like trying to shoot him. That is Tamas. And there is a friend who is so attached, like a roommate, like a Rajas. And there's a little girl, Sattva-guna. So all these 3 are just haunting him. And towards the end, so now he will be medicated. He goes through a lot of difficulties and then a lot of torture, a lot of pain. And then he gets a Nobel Prize. And then, so towards the end, he doesn't use any medicines. He just is like transcendent this. And he walks. As he walks, those 3 are still there. And then he just smiles at them. So that is Ut Asina Vatta. Samadukha sukha swastaha samalostashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyodhiraha tulya nindatma samstitihi. We have seen this. Shaitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitaha. So in sukha and dukkha, in labha and alabha, in priya and apriya. So we have seen natvesti sampravruttani na nivruttani kankshati na prahrushet priyam prapya nodvijet prapya cha apriyam. So sthira buddhihi, asammodaha. So that manapamana yotulyaha. We have seen this Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana. At bodily level, Shita and Ushna. It's cold one day, it is hot one day. And it is Sukha one day, pleasure one day, pain one day. It is victory one day and it is loss another day. I mean, today, the match between Bangladesh and India, there's a little girl who was crying so much when Bangladesh lost. And her father was consoling her. The commentator was saying, yes, there will be a victory one day. We'll lose some games, we'll gain, we'll win some games. So that is how labha and nasta, so they go about that. Mana, apamana, yotuliho, the intellectual level, mana and apamana, so that. And the Blessed Lord says, these great qualities of Trigunatita, and they can easily be understood by going through Ramayana. Vibhishana, Sattvaguna Sampanna. Kumbhakarna, Tamoguna, the one who is endowed with Tamoguna, the embodiment of Tamoguna. So Tamoguna Vigrahavan, and then Ravana, Rajoguna Vigrahavan, and Rama, so Dharmo Vigrahavan, Ramaha. So Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha is Gunatita, is Atindriya, is Jitendriya. So that is Rama. That is Rama. And we have seen this, we have talked about this. Arjuna showing his Sattvika Ahankara. Senayor, Bhayor Madhye, Ratham Stapaya Me Achyuta. So Yavadeta, Niriksheham, Yuddhukaman, Avastita. I want to see whom I have to fight with. And Dhritarashtra, having gone through these 700 verses, nothing happened. But eventually it has its later effect on Dhritarashtra. But at present it is Tamoguna, nothing happens, no change happens. So that is Dhritarashtra. And again, Duryodhana, Acharya Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravita. So I have seen that, we have seen that Duryodhana, how he talks to Dronacharya. And there are Gunatitas here, Gunatitas. Ganesha, Vyasa Maharshi, for the good of the world. So that is how these three gunas. And the one which was taught in the 7th chapter is explained again in these 2 verses, how to achieve. It is very difficult. We have to moderate, modulate, and operate, and it's a constant struggle and constant vigilance. But there is another easier way. So anchor on to me, Arjuna. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena, mam cha yaha avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena, chara, moving. Abhichara, going in the wrong direction. So vishesha or vividha abhichara, so going in many different directions, not like that. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, ananya chintayanto mam, that bhakti yogena, bhaktya mam abhijanati. So that bhakti. So now, if you anchor on to me, saha, whoever he may be, he who, whoever she may be, she who, etan gunan atitya, brahma bhuyaya kalpate, then becomes eligible to come to me and then become one with me. In that Brahman is I am. And what is that Brahman? That Brahman is Amrita, Avyaya, Saswata, and Dharma, Sukha. What Sukha? Ekantika Sukha. So that bliss, so that Satta, Chitta, Ananda, the one which is ever existent, the one which is ever illumining, and the one which is all blissful. That we will see in the 15th chapter. So this, so we'll salute Mahamaya with few words. Ayi, Chinmayi, Sanmayi, Tanmayi, Gunamayi, Sugunamayi, Trigunamayi, Karunamayi, Sattva Rajastamo Gunamayi, Srishtisthithalaya Karanamayi, Sharanamayi. Maya Mohini Madhava Sodari Sadasadrupini, Maheswara Rani, Chara Chara, Jiva is Maya's Vashikara. In Bhuvi and in Divi. Kecharas, Bhucharas, Vanacharas, Jalacharas, Manujas, Danujas, Divijas, and all the Rajas. All these are not an exception. So they are endowed with this Gunamayi. They are overwhelmed with the Gunamayi. So that Daivi, Hesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mame Vaye Prapadyante, Maya Metam Tarantite. So with that salutation to Maya and Mayavi, Maya and Maheshwara, Prakriti and Purusha, Parvati and Siva. So that Vishnu Maya and Vishnu, Krishna, Jishnu. Salutations and Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. This is a great prayer that we do. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Santi, Santi, Santi.
अथ गीतामाहात्म्यम् गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ॐ
Beyond. The wise see that all activity are in one of the three realms. They are unperturbed and unmoved by the harmony of sattva, passion of rajas, or the depression of tamas. Moving past these worlds and keeping the focus on what is true beyond these realms, they attain salvation, leaving behind the cycle of birth and death, as well as sorrow and suffering. The sure path to going beyond the gunas is selfless service of the divine in each and every action. This is the Lord's opinion in the Song of the Celestial.